Hey YouTube, Flyer556 here. I'm going to do a video today on my Remington shotguns. I'm going to do this one to let you guys know about some of the models, some of the differences, some of the features, what they cost as far as what I paid and what you can expect to pay now, and what I think about them. Then I'm going to do a basic disassembly and assembly on them. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about chokes. And finally, I'm going to finish up. I want to go over a little bit about the Sportsman Super Mag. I want to do this because I'm seeing a lot online about a problem people say it has. I don't believe this. I don't believe a word of this. I think the people putting this stuff up there simply are not reading the manual. I want to explain what I think is going on here. And I want to explain this because I think the gun is getting a bad rap simply because of stupidity and laziness. Okay, these are my Remington shotguns. I own 4. This is an 870 Express, 1187 Premier, 870 Super Mag, and 1187 Super Mag. I'm going to start with this one here. This is your basic standard 870 Express. Real common gun, real popular with the military and the police. It's a solid, durable, excellent gun for the money. It's a pump action shotgun. It's clear as you can see. Okay. Remington 870 Express. I paid approximately $280 for this in February of 1989. Keep in mind that's 25 years ago, people. It's going for approximately $350 now, the way you see it. I did buy this as a combo. It came with this barrel, and it also came with a slug barrel back when I bought it. I'm not sure if they sell it that way anymore. But this is your basic pump action Remington shotgun. This is the 870 Express model. Both sides. This is capable of shooting 2 3/4 or 3-inch shells. Either or, it goes both ways. Okay, then we're going to move up. This is the 3rd shotgun I purchased in my life. I also bought this from a place called Ray Sport Shop, currently in North Plainfield, New Jersey. I bought this in November of 1999. Nice firearm here. Remington 1187 Premier this is. I paid about $650 for this, and that was a long time ago. 20 plus years. Okay, nice wood on this. Nice engraving on both sides. Premier. That's the model of this one. Remington 1187. Okay. Nice walnut on this one, huh? Real nice gun. Okay. Moving on up. This gun here, pump action. It's clear. Okay, Remington 870 Super Magnum. That's what this is. Very similar to the original 870 that I showed you over here. The only difference is it's got a synthetic stock, synthetic foregrip, and it's Realtree camo. Other than that, it's almost exactly the same, aside from the fact it's capable of shooting a newer 3.5-inch Super Mag shell. This gun can shoot 2 3/4, 3-inch, and 3.5-inch Super Mag shells. Any of the above. Okay, that's that one. And last but not least, this would be the 5th shotgun I purchased in my life. This is the Remington 1187 Sportsman Super Mag. This is the one I want to talk about at the end to explain the problem that people say they're having. It's really not any problem at all. They need to read the manual. This is a semi-auto shotgun. Once again, very similar to the 1187 I showed you earlier. The difference is it's a synthetic stock, synthetic foregrip, camo, and it's capable of shooting a 3-inch super mag. Okay? That's the differences. Nice long bolt there. As it says, Remington 1187 Sportsman Super Mag. This is the big boy. Okay. Basically, that's my 4 Remington shotguns. You got the 870 Express, standard model wood, 2 3/4, 3-inch. The standard 1187 Premier, 2 3/4, 3-inch. Then you get into the 870 Super Mag. This is 2 3/4, 3-inch and 3.5-inch. Then you got the 1187 Super Mag Sportsman. This is 2 3/4, 3-inch and 3.5-inch Super Mag. Once again, all excellent choices. They're all good guns. I'm going to do a basic disassembly and assembly now to show you how they come apart and how they go together. In case you're a new shooter, an experienced shooter, you're considering buying a Remington, you never bought a Remington, you want to know a little about a Remington, that's what I'm here to try to show you today. Pretty much the first thing is, you're going to take the gun, put it like this, screw this nut off the tube, take the nut off, barrel comes off, simple as that. There's your barrel. Next, you're going to take a small screwdriver, pin, nail, punch, whatever you have available. There's 2 pins here on the trigger group. You're going to just give them a tap. Each one. Probably don't need much more than that. As you can see, they popped out already. One's large, one's small. This is the larger one. Take that out. This is the smaller one. Take that out. Okay. That'll allow your trigger group to come out like that. There's the trigger group in the 870. Now, one thing I suggest when you do this, always do this in the safe mode, because in the manual it says that if you fire this when it's out of the gun, it could become damaged. So always make sure you put your safety on. See, when it's red, it's not safe. When it's not red, it is safe. Therefore, when you pull the trigger, the hammer here won't move. They say if you fire this out of the gun, it could damage it. A couple other things real quick to keep in mind when you're cleaning this. There's a small clip here that goes around where the pin goes through. See if you could see that. Yeah. There's a clip there. And there's a clip here. There's one on each side for the small pin. And then the large pin, it's a very similar clip inside here where this pin goes through. Only it's bigger. There's only one on the large pin. Careful not to lose these if you spray this down and want to blow it out with compressed air like I do. I kind of put my fingers like this, and then you can blow, and you don't have to worry about blowing them clips out and losing them, because if you do, you'll probably never find them. It's easy to get replacements from Remington for these here. Very easy to get from Remington. I suggest getting a few. One just dropped out on me right here, right now. Not a problem, I know where it's at. To further disassemble this, pretty much there's a lever inside the receiver here that you would press down on. You're not going to be able to see it, but it's right here. Press it down and you can pull this entire assembly right out with the bolt, foregrip, and that's it. Everything's out. The gun is totally empty now. So you can clean everything in there, no problem. This is your bolt. It sits on this piece right here. That comes out. This comes out. And you're basically down to the foregrip. So now you can clean this. You can clean this. You can clean your trigger group. You can clean your barrel, inside and out. As you can see, mine's pretty clean. Kind of hard to get on the camera there. And pretty much that's as far as you need to go with this assembly. You clean all that, oil it up nice, blow it out, and you'll be pretty much where I'm at right now with this. Then you can reassemble it. Which once again is pretty simple. You take your foregrip, take this metal piece here, steel, that the bolt rides on. It only goes in one way because there's two grooves here. It only fits one way. Drop that on them rails. Take your bolt assembly, drop it on top of that. Okay. Slide the foregrip onto the tube. Align the bolt into the receiver. The same lever that you pressed earlier, you're going to press now. And that'll allow it to go into the receiver. That's it. Now it's locked in. Check it for operation. Then you're going to go ahead and put your trigger group back in. Like I said, this here is the clip that I was explaining could fall out, that you could blow out to keep your finger on. One of mine just dropped out. Very easy to put back on. It's shaped. It's got a flat side and a round side. Flat side goes up. It drops into that groove, and it just drops on. Simple as that. It's on there. Okay. So your trigger group, you're going to take. This is a little finicky to put in. Kind of take it. Lost my clip again. Okay. You're going to take it, work it into the receiver. It's a little finicky to get in. Play around with it a little bit. It'll go in. Okay. Once your holes line up, and you can see light through them, as you can here, you're lined up, you're good. Take your large pin, small pin, either one first, it doesn't matter. Line it up, drop it in the hole. Okay. Light tap with a hammer, it's in. Light tap with the hammer, you're in. Okay. Once again, check your operation, make sure it works. Okay, good to go. Take your barrel. I usually put the foregrip midway. Try to get this where you can see what's going on here. Take your barrel, drop it on there like that, and that's it, you're in business. The nut that you took off first, put back on. Screw it down. That'll secure the barrel. That's it. Back in action. Okay, that's your basic disassembly and assembly of the 1187 Express. I'm not going to do the Super Mag Express because this is exactly the same as this. There's no difference. So I'm not going to disassemble this one. Okay, moving on to the Remington 1187 Premier. I'm going to disassemble this to show you the difference between this and the Super Mag that I want to explain at the end. Very similar to the 870. Screw your foregrip nut off, place it to the side, slide your foregrip off. At that point, you can slide your barrel out. Barrel comes out just like that. Again, very similar to the 870. On the 1187 standard, you have this piece. Goes on top of the barrel right here, like that. Okay, I just want to show you that for something that I'm going to explain later on. Take your barrel off, Then you have an O-ring here. It's a good idea to get a few of these from Remington. Not a problem, like the pins. Get a few of these extra in case you need them down the road. Then this piece here comes off. This is called the piston assembly. That's what Remington calls it. It's like kind of like rings on a piston. I guess that's why they call it the piston assembly. This is what holds your gas. Take that off. Pull your bolt release out. It just pulls out. Simple as that. Now, very similar to the 870, you got that same lever in here that you got to push to remove the bolt carrier. Just like the 870, same thing. Pull this off, rails come off. Now the gun, all that's left is the trigger. Very similar bolt carrier here. Only difference is this one's chrome. This piece doesn't come out like it does on the 870. It's part of the rails, stays put. That's that. So now you got that out, you got the bolt out. There's one more piece here. I'll get that out later. Now, same as the 870, take a suitable tool, tap the two pins out, just like we did with the 870. See them sticking out? Pull them out, put them to the side. Okay, same as the 870. Trigger group comes out. Very similar, same thing. Once again, make sure it's in the safe position when you take this out, because you don't want to fire it when it's out of the gun. Put that off to the side. It's got the same clips that I showed you on the 870. Then you got one last piece in here. You got this piece here you have to take out. This works your spring in the stock here. Okay, pull that out. Now, you're completely stripped. You can clean everything inside here. You can clean your bolt. Clean where the bolt rides. Clean your gas tube. You can clean your trigger group. Like I said, it's got those same clips. See the clip here? And the clip here for the pin. Same exact thing as the 870. And then in the back you got the large one for the large pin. You want to be careful not to lose those if you blow this out. You can clean all those parts. Clean your barrel. See how mine looks. Looks pretty good from my view. Okay. That's the full disassembly on the 1187. Now we're going to put this back together. We're going to put this piece in first. This works your spring inside the stock. This is a little bit of a pain to put in. Not too bad though. Look at that, I got it on the first shot. Almost. Come on, honey. Get in there. I knew that was just too easy. Okay. That's in. Now, I'm going to take the bolt carrier assembly, drop the bolt on it, put this on the tube, align the bolt with the receiver here, press that lever I was talking about that you pressed on the 870 to disassemble it. Bolt goes in, nice. Okay, you could put your bolt release in now at this point. Okay, That's functional. Take your trigger group, make sure all your clips are on it, that you didn't lose any. Same as the 870. It's a little finicky to get into the receiver. Just play around with it a little bit. It'll go. Got to get it just right. There we go. Okay. Once you see light through those pinholes, like you see here, you're good to go on that. Take your large and small pin. Large one goes in the back. Small one goes in the front. Little tap with the old hammer. You're good to go. Okay. That'd be the main disassembly on this. Take your foregrip. Well, before you take that, take your piston assembly that I talked about earlier. Drop that on the tube. Goes that way. Take your O-ring. Drop that on the tube. So it seals your gas in. Take your foregrip. Drop that on the tube. Helps to put it on the right way. And take your barrel. That pretty much drops on there. Same as you took it out. Actually, it's been a while since I did this, everybody. Drop your barrel on first. That's why I had a problem with the foregrip. Barrel on. Now this will go right on. Before I put it on, this piece here that I showed you earlier, you put this on top of the barrel. Drop your foregrip on, put your foregrip nut on, tight, check everything, make sure it works, wipe the old fingerprints off. Pretty much that's the full disassembly of the 1187 Premier. And assembly. Okay, now the last thing I want to go over is the 1187 Super Mag. This is the gun that I was telling you got a bad rap, and it really doesn't deserve it. The way I figured this out, partially, well, mainly was from reading the manual, which you should do with any gun you buy. But a guy that I shoot with that moved in across the street from where I used to live back in 1978. I've known him for approximately 35 years. He got his hands on one of these and he wanted to go out and shoot it. So I said, all right, I got one. I'll take mine and we'll both go out and we'll both shoot them. I'll tell you what happened about that after I show you what's going on in here. This gun, very similar to the one we just took apart. Pull your nut, foregrip, barrel off. It doesn't have that piece that goes on the barrel. However, it has the O-ring. Same as the other one. It has this piece. This is called the BSA, the Barrel Seal Activator. This is the piece why people are having the problem they're having with this gun. This is the piston assembly. Okay, same as the other one. That's as far as I'm going to take this down, because otherwise it's exactly the same as the one I just showed you. What I want to show you on this Remington 1187 Sportsman Super Mag is what Remington recommends in the manual. They tell you when you put this gun together, you put your piston assembly on first, same as the other one, okay? If you're going to shoot 3-inch or 3.5-inch Magnums, you don't put this barrel seal activator on. You leave it out. You just simply put the O-ring on, which is the way you seen it when I took it apart. I didn't have the barrel seal activator in. I had this out. There's a reason for that. Okay, you put this in. Now, they tell you in the manual, if you're going to shoot 2 3/4-inch light trap loads, you put this on here, the barrel seal activator. So now you got the piston assembly, the barrel seal activator, and then your O-ring. Okay, put that on. You actually have one additional piece more than what you had on the other one. Piston assembly, barrel seal activator, and your O-ring for the gas. What it says in the manual is it says to put this in if you're going to shoot 2 3/4-inch low brass light trap loads. Reason is it's got such a wide variety of ammo that it shoots, and it's semi-auto. It needs this extra little piece to eject the low brass, low power cartridges. And it explains that you don't put this in if you're going to shoot 3-inch or 3.5-inch Super Mags. Reason is, if you shoot the large shells with this 3 or 3.5-inch, this will overgas it, and it'll be too much. And what'll happen, and what people are saying is happening with this gun, is they're saying that it blows this nut clean off of here when the gun's assembled and you're shooting it. If you don't take this out and you shoot 3-inch or 3.5-inch out of it, it actually blasts this nut right off the threads, and it ruins the tube, it ruins the nut, ruins these threads. And from what people are saying on the internet, the gun's a piece of junk, it's a piece of shit. I had to send it back to Remington. They say that Remington does take care of it, but I really think it's through their own negligence. I think it's because they don't read the manual, and they're leaving this in, they're shooting these high power rounds, and this is what's happening. It's wiping these threads out and blowing the nut off, and the barrel's coming off when they fire these high power rounds out of this gun. I have no problem with it, and I'm going to take this off for a reason, and I'm going to explain why I'm going to take it off. Take your O-ring off, take your barrel seal activator out. This is called the BSA in the manual, barrel seal activator. Simply put the piston assembly, just like this other 1187. Put your O-ring, just like the other 1187, and don't put the barrel seal activator in. Now, the gun is set up to shoot 3-inch or 3.5-inch Super Mag cartridges. Okay, drop your barrel on. Same way you removed it. Drop it on there. Make sure you got your O-ring. Good to go. Drop your foregrip on. Put your foregrip nut on. Okay. Now, without having this barrel seal activator in the gun is capable of shooting 3 and 3.5-inch Super Mag shells. Okay? This is the way you're supposed to shoot those shells. I think what's happening, people aren't reading the manual, they're leaving this in the gun, they're shooting 3-inch and 3.5-inch, and they're blowing this nut right off the gun. And they're damaging their gun, and they're giving the gun a bad rap because they didn't read the manual. That's what I think is going on with this whole problem. Now, getting back to the guy that I told you that moved in across the street from me 35 years ago that I met, that I do a lot of shooting with. I've learned a lot of stuff from him. I've reloaded a lot with him. And we do a lot together. And over the years, we've done a lot together. Anyhow, he purchased a boat, and it was a package deal. He got the boat, he got some decoys, and he got one of these shotguns with it. So he called me up one day and he said he wanted to go out and shoot this thing to try it out. So I said, alright, we do a lot of trap shooting together. I said, as a matter of fact, I have one of them. It's relatively new. I'll take mine out and we'll go out and shoot both of them. And that's exactly what we did. So when we got out there, I asked him if he ever took it apart. He said no. It was the same thing as this, only it was black. It wasn't camo, but it was the Sportsman 3.5 inch 1187 Super Mag. So I said, well, before we shoot this thing, we should take it apart and look through the barrel, make sure there's no obstructions, you know, the standard thing that you normally do. Make sure everything is there, put it back together, check the function, and then, yeah, let's try it out. Anyhow, I took it apart. I simply took this nut off of his. I pulled this off, pulled this off. I pulled the barrel off. I looked through the barrel, which mine, obviously, it's clean, you can see. Okay, I looked through his barrel. I looked at the gun. I saw the O-ring was there. Here's the O-ring. I saw the piston assembly was there. And I happened to notice that this piece, the barrel seal activator, the piece that they say to put in if you're shooting low brass, low recoil trap loads, is supposed to be in. At that time, mine was in. I had it in because I knew I was going to be shooting trap loads that day. This is why I don't put it in anymore. I'm going to explain that. He didn't have his in. Now, we were shooting low brass reloaded shotgun shells, standard reloads, 209 primer, 19.5 greens, green dot, AA wad, ounce and an eighth, 7.5. That's what we were using. So I told him, you might have a problem. Your gun might not cycle these shells. So I took mine apart and I showed him. I said, you really need to have this piece in here. Tells you in the manual to cycle the lower recoil shells. He said, okay. I put his back together. I put mine back together. Like I'm going to do right now. I put both guns back together. Okay, all back together. At the time I had this piece in mine. I shot, he shot, all of us really had no problem. So I came to the conclusion originally of why people are saying that the barrel blows off of this thing, that you blow this nut off, is because they're not taking it out and they're shooting the high power rounds. That's why that's happening. But at the same time, I also came to the conclusion, at least myself in my own experience, that you really don't need to have this in there to shoot what I've been shooting with my 19.5 grains of green dot, ounce and an eighth shot, 209 primer and a AA wad. They cycle fine in this gun without having this in. So, to be on the safe side, I don't keep it in anymore. I leave it out. This way, I can shoot my 2 3/4 inch low brass, low recoil trap loads, and I can shoot the 3 inch and 3.5 inch Super Mag shells and not worry about it because this is out. You don't have to worry about forgetting to take this out to shoot the big boys. Okay? That's why I say I think this is getting a bad rap because of stupidity and laziness of not reading the manual, because I think people are leaving this in the gun and they're shooting it with the high power loads, and that's why this nut's blowing off. I've shot all the loads that this thing is capable of shooting without having this in, and it's no problem. That's my my take on the whole thing. And I really think this gun is getting a bad rap. I want to show you what it is up close one more time. It's a little hard to see with the camo. Remington 1187 Sportsman Super Magnum. Okay? I think this gun's getting a bad rap from people not taking this out, shooting the high power loads. That's what's causing the problem. It's not the gun. It's a good gun. Okay? That's that. Pretty much I think that's going to sum up my video. I've given you the rundown of what I paid pretty much when I bought these guns. These are the newer style, these are the older style. They're very similar. The only differences in these is one is synthetic, one is wood. One shoots the 3.5-inch Super Mag, the other one doesn't. Most importantly, I wanted to go over this barrel seal activator piece in 1187 Sportsman Super Mag to explain why I think people are having problems. And I did that. I guess you might have noticed that I have fiber-optic sights on all these guns. I like them. They can get kind of pricey, but I found in Walmart, you can pick this up. Made by Winchester, sold at Walmart, might be sold other places too. Comes with 4 different sizes for different size ventilated ribs. Now, they are only good for a ventilated rib. They just snap onto the ventilated rib. That's why they give you 4 different sizes. One's missing from this package. This is a good affordable fiber optic sight. It's like $13 to $15 depending on the Walmart and where you're at. I bought these in the Walmart where I bought these 2 Super Mags from. Very affordable, because the one I got on this gun I paid like close to $30 and I only got the one. And I really see no difference in the quality between these and this, and I paid twice as much for this and only got one. And this here you can get for 15 bucks or less and you get 4 of them. So just to let you know about the fiber optic sight, it's great. It draws light in from the top up here and it projects the light out here. You don't have to remove your sight with these. You just snap it on right behind it. Leave the original in place so you don't have to modify your gun. It's a cool, affordable fiber optic sight at Walmart. Wanted to get that in there. And last but not least, I guess I'll go over chokes. I was going to do this earlier, but I'll do it now. I run modified chokes in all of these guns. Each of the guns gives you, it comes with a modified choke. It does not give you the improved cylinder. See if I can get this to come in. Remington improved cylinder. And it does not give you the full choke. This is the Remington full steel or lead choke. This one can shoot steel and lead. Okay. Quick rundown on chokes. The reason I stuck with Remington also is because they all use the same choke. And it's very easy to take them out. It uses this tool. It's got 4 notches around it here. As you can see, the chokes, they have the 4 notches. The wrench simply clips in and you screw it in, screw it out. I'll show you on this one. You just take your wrench, align the 4 notches, loosen it up, screw it out. Okay, once you got it out, there it is. That's the Remington, if I can get this to come in, modified, MOD. Remington modified. That's what I run in all my guns. I do a lot of trap shooting, and the Remington modified just works for me. Screw it back in with the provided wrench. You don't want to over tighten these, you just snug them. Make sure you put a decent amount of oil on them, because I've been told that they're known for freezing in the gun. I don't have a problem because I oil them. I oil them heavily, and I don't over tighten them. I just snug them down, keep my eye on them while I'm shooting, and I don't have any problem with them. Basic rundown on chokes. First one, you got your improved cylinder, Remington improved cylinder. This choke basically is if you're shooting between 15 and 20 yards. This is the choke you'd want to use. I use the modified in all these guns. That's for like 20 to 30 yards, in that range, which is where I like to try to shoot my birds when they come out of the machine. And then last but not least, you got the Remington full choke. Get that to come in better. Remington full steel or lead choke. This is for like 30 yards and out. Okay, and it's capable of shooting steel. I don't use this because I try to get right on them as quick as I can, and I find that I shoot them between 20 and 30 yards, and the modified tends to work pretty good for me. But just to give you a quick rundown on chokes, and I also wanted to let you know that they are interchangeable choke barrels on all of them. You can run any of these chokes in any of these guns, and it's no problem. Pretty much, that's my review. I let you know about the prices I paid, the prices you can expect now, a little bit about how to take each of them apart, how to put them together. I let you know about the Sportsman Super Mag with the issue going around on the internet. This is the problem right here, everybody. This is the problem. People don't read the manual and they're leaving it in there. You have to take this out if you're going to shoot the 3 or 3.5 inch Super Mag. Simple as that. You won't have no problem. My suggestion is just take it out, leave it out. You don't have to worry about it if it'll cycle your low brass, low recoil rounds, which for me, my recipe that I use for loading shotgun cycles them fine. So my choice is just to leave it out. Simple as that. You don't have to worry about it. Leave it out, it's just like this one. No difference. You don't have to worry about it. Okay? That's my review. That's my info. That's my Remington shotguns. And that's my video for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Flyer 556 out.